The computer. Great. So where we need to pick up is on part number C, that we see right here. And what's going to be different is we're going to have safety stock this time. So we got a safety stock of 15. We'll work our way through that, and then we'll do E. E is just a nice finish, nothing weird going on, nothing strange or anything like that. So for E, we also have, if you follow my cursor on the right side here, we have spare parts demand for 10 per period. And then we've got to figure out how many Cs we also need from production. So I'm going to pull up the bill of material, and I want to ask the same question that we asked many times earlier. Where does C get its demand from? So let me give you a chance to kind of get the brain going here this evening. And then either in the chat box or jump online, let me know what you identify for where does demand for C come from. So we got one up in the chat box. Let's see what we got here. Andres is saying B, C, and F. So if I'm interpreting that right, you're saying there's two C's for every B, okay, which would be correct. Now you said C's for F. I'm wondering if you meant right up
No,
here.
it's A, Chuck. No, not
Not
C. I
okay.
mean,
That's what I was wondering. Okay, so two C's for every A, and that would be correct. Okay. So let's come over to our spreadsheet here, and I'll write that down. So it was two C's for every B, two C's for every A. So what we've got here, let me clean this out here up on top. But here, in fact, let me get rid of these yellow ones that I highlighted for F because we don't need that right now. Okay, so two C's for every A, two C's for every B. So if I want, I'll make the arrows like we did before. If I want 10 A's up on top, I'm going to need 20 C's because it's two C's for every A, plus the 10 that I just highlighted here for spare parts. So we're going to need 30 total. Okay. We go to period 3. We want 30 B's, and over on the right, it says two C's for every B. So if I want 30 B's, I want 60, 60, B, 60 E, can't even speak here. If I want 30 B's up on top here, then I need 60 C's plus the 10 spare parts. So I need 70 total. Period 4, I've got two arrows to put in. I want 100 A's up on top and 20 B's down below. Both of them need two C's for each one. So if I want 120, I'm going to need 240 C's plus the 10 spare parts, or 250 total. Period 5, I want 10 B's, so I need 20 more C's plus the spare parts of 10. And then finally, in period 6, I want 10 A's and 10 B's. So they're both at 2 each. So if I want to build 20 total, I need 40 C's because it's two C's for each one, plus the spare parts of 10, and I need 50. So if I did my math right, that should be what we need for demand. Anybody come up with anything different? Don't feel bashful. Herman German found where I goofed up last week and was kind enough to correct me, and I didn't get mad about it. So nobody's got to feel bashful about it. But I think we got it right here. Okay. So let me get those out of the way. And we're going to do the same thing left to right. Now, the question's going to change for the net requirements. If you remember, net requirements is, and I'll write it down here, am I short? Because we have safety stock now, the question really becomes first, am I short for the customer? And I may not be, I may have enough, but I also have to check to see, am I short for safety stock? We treat safety stock as a floor you do not go below. So if we fall below the 15, we're going to have to buy something. So we'll really ask two questions. So if we start out, we've got 120 on hand, I'll circle it. And in period one, we need 10. So the two-part question is, first off, am I short for the customer? And we would say what? We're not short at all. We got enough to take care of the customer. Got 120, need 10. So I'm not short for the customer. Am I below the safety stock? And what would you all say there? That one I'm not going to answer. You are correct, Candace. We are still above the safety stock. So I have, oops, let's do it this way. Let me type it in there. I'm sorry. We have 110 left over. Okay. Now, can we sell all 110? Absolutely. Okay. But when we sell 95 of them, then we're bumping up against the safety stock. So, period two. Oh, yeah, Herman. Did I get my math messed up? I have this feeling like I
No,
did.
but I was wondering the 15 uh, on the. Shouldn't we carry it over or?
Well, here's what actually happens. The 15 is part of the 110. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so let me draw the picture on the right side because this does create a problem because many of us do it differently at work. So here's what's happening is we had 120.
Mhm.
Okay. I'm going to put the floor in down here. This is our safety stock of 15. We have 120. We only sold 10. So we've got 110. We've got 110 left over. The 15 is part of the 110.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So it's kind of like a floor it's kind of
Yeah,
like a floor we're going to try and stay above.
yeah. Okay, okay. Thank you.
You
Makes sense.
bet. So period two, I've got 110 and I need 30. So two-part question again. Number one, do I have enough to take care of the customer? And you would say, what would folks say there? Yep. Yolanda and Candace are correct, and Arissa's correct, and everybody's agreeing. So we're all in this together. And I'm still above safety stock because on the picture, I'm only down. Oops, didn't want to make that move. The picture, I'm now down to 80. So I got plenty. Okay. So now it gets interesting. I've got 80 and I need 70. So again, two-part question. Number one, do I have enough for the customer? And your response will be yes. Okay. Am I above or below safety stock though? Below, and you are correct. So if I draw the picture, and this gets to Herman's question, I didn't want to do that. Okay. I sell 70 and I'm down to 10. Did I take care of the customer? Yes, but I'm below safety stock. So in fact, I have a shortage of how many? Someone want to take a guess there because I'm trying to get back up above safety stock. And Andres and Candace, you are correct. I am short 5. Even though I don't need them for the customer, I've got to get myself above safety stock. So I'm going to put a 5 in there in period 3. And I look over to the left and I see a lot size of 150. So this is where lean people get a little cranky at us sometimes because they're saying, "Oh my goodness, you're buying materials to get above safety stock." Safety stock isn't real demand. What are you doing? You shouldn't do that. But that's part of what we got going on. So MRP is going to say you better get in 150 in period three. And with a 2 period lead time, you better release it in period one. Okay. Now I'm going to draw this again because this will take Herman's comment a little bit further. Here's the 15. So now, and I'll do it up on top here too. I had 80 and I'm bringing in another 150. So I've got 230 to work with. Okay. And out of the 230, I'm going to use 70. So I'm going to be down to 160. On my chart, it would look like this. Here's 80. I need 70. I'm down to 10. And I bring in 150. So I'm up to 160. Going back to Herman's question, could I sell all 60, 160? Absolutely yes. But once I sell, and I'll write this on the bottom, once I sell the 146th part, I'm going to dip below safety stock. So safety stock is kind of an artificial floor we're trying to stay above. Okay. Now, while I'm here, I want to share one thing. You won't see this on the test, but at work in companies in their software, I've seen a couple things being done so people's software can say we're different. If you start to think about this, you realize we're trying to keep you above safety stock and not touch safety stock. So I've seen companies do one of two things. And I'm not going to say right or wrong, but you better make sure everybody's on the same page. If I'm trying to protect those 15, I have seen softwares, and I'm going to cover up the 120 on hand. I have seen computers that show 105 instead of 120. So they're taking out the 15 so you cannot see it and therefore never touch it. So I have seen that. We never teach that way, but I have seen it. The other one I've seen is softwares have said, well, that 15 is kind of like another customer. So instead of a gross requirements of 10 up on top, I'm going to make it 25. So they add 15 to every demand. Instead of 30, it's 45. Okay. So they treat it like an additional demand. And I'm not going to get into is that right or wrong? I grew up with treating it like an artificial floor, so I tend to teach it that way. And our body of knowledge tends to teach it that way as well. So for test purposes, treat it as a floor that you're not going to go below. If you do something different at work, then as long as everybody's on the same page, that's okay. Okay, so let me put in the 160 we got left. Okay. Period four. I have 160. I need 250. So my question, I'm not going to ask the am I short? It's pretty clear we're short. And it's pretty clear I've gone by the safety stock here. My question would be, what's my net requirement? What do you think my shortage is? I got to take care of the customer and I got to get above safety stock. And Chuck's got to get a haircut because I'm getting the hair in my ears. And Andres got it right. 105. Okay. Do you want to, Andres, do you want to take everybody through how you came up with that? Uh,
Yes, the inventories went to 90 down, but I need also to cover those 90 and not the extra safety stock of 15. So that's how I came to the 105.
exactly right. Yep. The 90 just gets you back up to zero. And like you say, you need another 15 on top of it because zero's not good enough. I got to be above 15. So perfectly correct. So 105, which means then I got to buy another 150. I've got to release it in period 2. Okay. And then if I go to the on hand, let's do it up on top here. And for the exam, I always like to draw it out like this just to make sure I get it right. So I've got 160, and I'm going to bring in another 150. So I've got 310 to work with, and I need 250 of those. So I'm going to have 60 left over. Okay. Well done, everyone. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Period 5. I got 60. I need 30. I took care of the customer and I'm above safety stock. I got 30 left. Period 6. I got 30. I need 50. So, how many am I short? Let's see what pops up in the chat box. I'm kind of in the same situation that Andres talked about before, where I got to get the customer taken care of and get above safety stock. So, let's see what folks think. Oh, Yolanda and Candace got it correct. You are correct. Yep, we are 35 short. 20 to take care of the customer and another 15 to get me above safety stock. Perfect, perfect, wonderful. Which means I better get in another 150 and I will have 130 left over if I did my math. And then period 7, I'll use 10 to the 130. So I'll be down to 120. And then period 8, I'll be down to 110. And that's that one, by golly. There it is. Any thoughts or comments from folks? Or like I said, we treat it as a floor. We're trying to stay above. Okay. Well, let's finish off E, then we'll probably, yeah, we'll get started a bit. Okay. Let's go back to our bill
Chuck,
of material. Yeah.
Chuck, just
Yes,
one
sir.
doubt.
Sure.
Isn't missing one order release for those 150 that we got in the last period?
Oh, you're right. Yeah, right here. I totally
Okay.
went brain dead on you. Yeah, if I want to get it in period 6, I got to release it. Oh my
Hmm.
goodness. Yeah, you are correct. Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, no, 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 no. This reinforces, I think we talked about it, Tuesday is there's so much going on that we got to keep an eye on it, and especially with an exam. Yeah, we got to make sure we get all our stuff covered. So no, don't feel bashful, Fabio. Excellent. Okay. E. Let's go back to our bill of material. Okay, we cleaned it off here. And where does the demand for E come from? And let's see what folks come up with. Okay. B and F, and you are correct. So I'll highlight it here. 3 B's. Oh, nope. Boop, 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 boop. 3 E's for every B. And then what Andres is sharing is over here on the right side, 1 E for every F. Okay?
Chuck, I have a question in that point because I
Mm-hmm.
see that we need three E's per each B, but
Mm-hmm.
then I have one B per A and one B per F. So it
Yep.
shouldn't be instead of three, should it be six? Because they are different products. I mean the
Yep.
A and F
Yep.
are different. So
Nope.
I
Understand your question. Yeah.
okay.
So here's what happened, Andres, is we go back to Tuesday and we have to remember that when you and I, well, when we all did B, B got its demand from A and F. So when we did B, we collapsed or brought together A and F. So it's almost like putting this picture on top of this one, and we did both B's together.
Okay. Okay.
Is that ringing a bell? A little bit?
Yeah, but what happened, for example, if in the case of F, because in this case we need three E's per each B and three E, which is the same number, three E's per B. But what happened
Yep.
if it's four in one of the instead
Yep.
of different numbers? I mean,
You mean different quantity pers?
no, for the lowest level, if instead of having the same number for E's per B, we had different numbers. I mean,
Like four per instead of three per?
exactly.
Yeah. So what that means is B is not the same part number. This is not B. If you think of
All right, I got it.
Yep.
Now I got it. Okay.
Yep. I think I'm trying to remember what the engineers always tell us. If it's different form, different fit, or different function, it's got to be a different part number. And in our case, it's a different form because we got four E's instead of three E's. So it would we couldn't call it B anymore.
I got it. I got it. B always will pull three E's because it's only one B. Yeah, I got it.
Yep. Yep. You bet. Good question, though. Absolutely. I'm not saying that to be polite either, because we do bump into companies. In fact, I worked for an engineering company, Andres, that we would chemically coat materials like Teflons and that, and they'd come in 48-inch rolls, and the engineers would give it a number like BG 300 410, and it was a 48-inch wide material. And so a customer would call and say, well, I only need 6-inch material. We would slice it off and there'd be 42 inches left. But our engineers insisted it was the same part number. And we would always argue, but it's not the same part number because it's not as wide. Because what if a customer calls up and says, but you got enough square footage, but I want 43-inch wide. We can't do it because it's 42. So there are companies that they set the part number. It's not by form, fit, or function. They look at how it's engineered rather than the form. So it's not a crazy question you're asking at all. But to a computer, it can't tell the difference. It's almost like this right here. This is a pen and this is a pen. So the engineer says, well, we're going to call it part number PEN. And yet you and I both know, but that's different forms. And they're saying, no, but it's a pen. And we're like, no, you don't get it. I can't tell the difference in a computer. So it's a really serious question you're asking. Okay. So go back and let me sneak it in here. We said three E's for every B, one E for every F. So here's the B's that are highlighted above. Here's the F's up on top. So let me highlight those. And I apologize if I'm still going slow, but I want to make sure I'm methodical about this. And we'll get rid of these A's on top because we don't need those. Okay. So using that logic, three E's for every B. Here is 30 B's, which means I need 90 E's. Okay. Next one, I need 20 F's, and it's one E for every F, and 20 B's. So I need 20 E's for the 20 F's, and I need 60 E's for the 20 B's. So I'm going to need 80 total. Yep. Thank you. Yep. Yeah, I wasn't quite sure if I said that right or if I was going to confuse everybody, so I appreciate you reaffirming that. Yep. Okay. Next one then. I want 20 Fs, so I need 20 Es, and I need 10 Bs, so I need 30 Es. So that is 50, if I got that right. And then here I need 10 Bs, so I need 30 Es. And then finally, the last one, I need 10 Fs, so I need 10 Es. So if I got it right, I think we got our demands here. And if we look down below, we've got, let me bring it over here. We've got 120. Oh, I got those backwards a second. Control X, bring it up on top. My apologies. I typed that in wrong. Okay, so we've got 120 to work with. We've got lot sizes of 140 way over on the left, but nothing else weird's going on. So let's do the math. I got 120 to begin with, no demand in period 1 or 2, so I still have 120. Period 3, I have 120. I need 90. I'm still okay. I got 30 extra, and I don't have any safety stocks to worry about. Period 4, I have 30 and I need 80. So I'm clearly short 50. I got that right? Which means, okay, got the thumbs up for Arissa. So that's the official blessing. Cool. So I'm 50 short, which means I better get in 140 and I better release it because I don't want Fabio to ding me again. And I'm saying that with affection, Fabio. Um, I better release 140 and I'll have 90 left over. And then in period 5, I'll use 50 of the 90, so I'm down to 40. I'll use another 30, so I'm down to 10. And then in period 7, I'll use all 10, so I'm down to 0. And MRP, unless you tell it otherwise, is totally okay with 0 because it's saying you got 10, you need 10. What's the problem? Okay. So there is the balance of the problem right there. So let me stop recording for a second here.